Huntington Beach, California votes to ban pride flags.
What makes you think it's okay to discriminate against the gay population?
It's not about discrimination, but limiting the flags on city properties, says newly elected Councilmember Pat Burns in the PAC meeting.
The city of Huntington Beach should only fly or display on public property the American flag, POW, MIA flag, the California flag, the County of Orange flag, and the city of Huntington Beach flag.
Public speakers here on both sides.
Fly this flag because it's inclusive, but don't you dare fly the Christian flag next to it.
It's just about freedom, about to be who you truly are.
How about the Confederate flag? I'm sure we have some loyal Southerners here. I know. How about the Islamic flag? We have, we could put the Israeli flag up, the Palestinian flag up. You know, where does it end?
It sends a message, you're not welcome. And that's not true. We're a diverse city. We are known as a diverse city, so please stand up to the values of our city, of Huntington Beach.
In an action directly aimed at banning the pride flag from being flown, the City Council of Huntington Beach, California has voted to exclusively allow government flags to be flown over City Hall. In 2021, the City Council voted unanimously to fly the pride flag in June to honor Pride Month, but are now arguing doing so is discriminatory against other groups. Councilman Pat Burns, Republican, who led the effort to ban the flag, said in a statement that the city, quote, should avoid actions that could easily or mistakenly be perceived as divisive. All are equally valued members of our community, and none are to be treated differently or discriminated against, end quote. He did not mention the pride flag specifically, but said the city should only fly the American flag, the California state flag, the POW MIA flag, the Huntington Beach city flag, and occasionally the Orange County flag. The only other previously approved flag was indeed the pride flag. According to Voice of the OC, citizens were against the change in rules during the public comment period. Many letters were also sent to the city about the issue. Of those letters, 228 supported keeping the pride flag, while only 46 supported banning it. This story, the story about the flag has also become just really confusing because it's a lot of the people on the right are having this comment that it's pledging allegiance to a different organization as opposed to, again, our community created a flag as one of the ways to represent who we are. We didn't say, like, you know, if you want to create a flag for, you know, XYZ and start and have a month around it that your flag could not be flown. No one has ever stated that, correct? The pride flag is one of our symbols. That we didn't create a flag to start a separate country or a separate, you know, a separate class of people. It's a way to show
Jeff,
representation.
I have to ask you, because you've just finished, you're part of the Hollywood LGBT Council. The city of Hollywood was, I believe, the first city in Florida to fly the progressive flag, mm-hmm. and the city is 100%. You're with Board of Governors for HRC. Hollywood has moved from a 38 at like 2013 to 100 in the HRC Equality Index. Mm-hmm. The city has moved right along in terms of its progressive approach of inclusion. How was Hollywood able to do that? How is Hollywood be able to do what Huntington Beach can't, which is not make a pride flag divisive, but inclusive for a community? How are you able to do it when they can't?
I would say there certainly was not. I'm just talking to the city a few times. There, of course, was chatter, you know, about, you know, people commenting or complaining to the city. But I think the city council realized this was the right thing to do. All of the things on the HRC Equality Index questionnaire, when we actually approached the city government about it, and we went through the questionnaire, they were like, oh, well, of course we do that. And we're like, but you have to have it written down. You have to have a policy about it. So we really worked with them on, you know, ways. It wasn't that they were were, discriminating against LGBTQ people, and women I'll put in that category as well, because there was some language in some of the bylaws for the city that didn't accurately even protect women. But flying the pride flag, when we asked about it, it was almost as if they were like, well, of course we'll do that. Why wouldn't we do that? It was like no one had asked, which is why we, try to tell this story as much as possible, whether it's, cities across the country that are not in a Fort Lauderdale or Miami or Wilton Manors, an LGBTQ hub. Go to your city and ask them, will you support representation? Because a lot of times the city they don't necessarily know that they should be doing it. And when we brought it to their attention, there was actually not a lot of comment back and forth. It was very supportive.
To that point, which is the reason why I want to ask you, because you have great representation on this subject. It is reasonable, just in reasonableness, it is reasonable to assume that the reason why Hollywood goes, a city council and mayor that are cisgendered, straight, generally white men would go, well, of course we would do that, and we embrace that. It is reasonable to assume that when you face what you face with that Republican commissioner in Huntington Beach, they don't want the recognition of community. So the rejection of the flag is that we don't want to acknowledge that community. Isn't that a reasonable conclusion here, that we're sitting here in Broward County in Hollywood going, well, that's why he would do that, because he doesn't want to acknowledge gay men and lesbians and trans community and and again, I think for the city commission and for the mayor themselves, so many people were so proud who already were LGBT people that lived in Hollywood, that had been here for many years. People that came up to us and said, I've lived here for 20 years. I never thought we'd see a pride flag flying in Hollywood. It was so meaningful, and the city commissioners and the mayor themselves have all benefited from this exposure and the HRC index and all of the things that we've been able to kind of, again, bring the show of diversity. I do want to provide some context for especially our viewers. Orange County is like, it is in California and it's in Southern California, but it is very distinct from Los Angeles County. It is a very conservative county. If there was a chance of somebody like Donald Trump to carry a major metropolitan county in California, Orange County would be the closest. So that's the personality that we're talking about.
Maybe like a Bay County, like Panama City, Florida, where I'm from.
I think that what Chrissy Teigen called Donald Trump in her tweet, which is now part of the congressional record, is fitting for Huntington Beach Republican Councilman Pat Burns, the pussy-ass bitch.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.